All right, today we are going to break down one single, really powerful message. Seriously, it's a call to leadership that might be exactly the push you've been waiting for. So let's dive right in.
Okay, so this right here, this is what our whole explainer is about today. It's a single card simply called leadership. We're going to break down its three main messages and kind of map out the whole journey it's describing.
So where does this all start? Well, it begins with a question that I think most of us have asked ourselves at some point. Have you ever felt like you were meant for more? You know that feeling, right? That little voice that says you've got more to give. That's what we're digging in today. Okay, let's look at the very first part of this message. And what's interesting is it's not a suggestion. It's not a maybe you should. It's a direct statement about where you are, right here, right now. Pay close attention to the wording here. It doesn't say you could be a leader or you should be a leader. No, it says this is already happening. You're stepping into a role as a leader. See? It's a process that's already started.
And just in case that little voice of self-doubt starts chirping up, the card immediately follows up with two incredibly powerful words. You're ready. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. No qualifications needed. The message is just that simple. You are already ready.
Okay, so if we're ready, what's the holdup? What's stopping us? Well, the card points to a really common, really human internal struggle, the fear of the crowd. And this really lays out the two paths you can take, right? Following the crowd, yeah, it feels safe, you can be anonymous, you can stay comfortable. But leading the way, that requires you to be visible, to take on responsibility. And that's where the real growth, the real impact actually happens. And the key thing to get here is that this isn't meant to be a criticism. Think of it more like a diagnosis. The biggest hurdle isn't that you lack skill or talent. It's a very specific fear, that fear of really, truly putting yourself out there.
All right, so we've talked about the affirmation, that you're ready, and we've identified the obstacle, that fear. So what's the solution? This is the turning point. It's not about somehow magically getting rid of the fear. It's about making a conscious choice to accept your own power. So how do you actually do that? How do you break the cycle? It's really a three-step process. First, just acknowledge the fear is there. Don't fight it, just see it. Second, make the decision to accept your own power anyway. And finally, you just have to take that first step. It doesn't have to be a giant leap, just a single step forward.
So what happens when you do this? What's the reward for all this courage? The card makes a really clear, really exciting promise about what comes next.
And here it is, the payoff. Your career will improve. But the most important part is understanding the cause and effect here. The improvement isn't random. It's a direct result of you making that internal shift and accepting your power.
Yeah, to be super clear, this isn't talking about some lucky break or wishful thinking. It's a logical consequence. Think about it. When you stop hiding in the crowd and you start owning your contributions, you naturally become more visible. You create more value. And because of that, your career improves. You are the one who makes it happen.
So when you step back, you see the whole journey, right? There's the call to lead, there's the obstacle of fear, and there's the reward for moving past it. The entire message really just boils down to a single choice, a choice that you can make right now.
And if we look at the card one more time, it all just clicks into place. You have the affirmation, you're ready. You have the challenge, that fear of the crowd. And you have the promise, things will improve once you step into your power. The message couldn't be clearer, really.
And that brings us right to the end of our explainer today. If any of this has resonated with you, if you feel that little spark, then there's really only one question left to ask yourself. What is your first leadership act going to be?